So, what if I told you that you needed to be more selfish? That's right. In a world where people are telling you to be less selfish, here I am telling you to be more selfish. How would you respond to that? Well, the overall theme of the show is finish strong, and it's about becoming the best version of yourself. Well, how do we do that? Well, we do that through personal development. Oftentimes, the only investment that we make in ourselves is through our professional career. And sometimes we don't even do that. Now, some of us, we invest in a 401k, which allows us to deposit money into a certain account for an IRA. And even then, we only hope that we get the money in the right bucket. We allocate it correctly so that we have enough money to retire when we're 65 or 67 years old. And we don't even know if we do that very well. That professional development is great, but what do we do to invest in our personal lives? We don't do a whole lot, do we? I'm talking about how we invest in our marriage so that we can have a long-lasting and healthy marriage over a period of time. I'm talking about how do we become a better parent to not just our younger kids, but to our teenagers who might be a little bit more defiant. And we try to transition that relationship into a friendship as they become adult children. There's not a lot of classes on that, is there? What kind of efforts do we make as far as our nutrition and our fitness? And how do we become a better friend? How do we become more engaged in our community? And what kind of seminars are available for these kind of topics? And if there are seminars, do we take them? Probably not. Strangely enough, we're willing to put gas in our car and we understand how much fuel it takes to get us from point A to point B, and we're willing to make that investment. We understand too that if we don't put that gas in our vehicle, we're only going to make it halfway to our destination, but we don't seem to understand that in our own personal development, in our own lives. See, if we only fuel ourselves halfway, then we're only going to get halfway to our intended destination. We're not going to make it all the way there. So maybe it's time, dare I say, to be more selfish. I don't mean selfish in the sense that it's rude or it's disrespectful to others. I'm talking selfish in the sense that you're not neglecting yourself. See, we need to fuel ourselves, and we don't just do that each month. We don't just do that each week. We need to do this daily. This is something that has to be intentional. And that selfishness is required if we are to be everything that we can be, not just to ourselves, but what we can give to others. That means we need to have more alone time, more focus on our health and fitness, not just physical, but I'm also talking emotional. We need to focus on our spiritual side as well. And we need to fill that cup every day. That might be through reading your Bible or through meditation, whatever that means to you. It might mean reading personal improvement books, maybe just 10 pages a day. That's what I do every day, and I feel smarter for it. It could also mean, quite simply, that you need to get more sleep each night, because when you wake up in the morning and you're not feeling energized, your entire day just happens to fall apart and you make bad decisions as a result. Regardless of what you're doing, right now you're not able to attack your day because you're not fueling yourself each day. You're not being selfish enough. You're not making that personal investment, which is something that you need to do. And it's ironic because we're in an age where people tell us if they don't like what we're doing, that we're being selfish. And it's this criminal behavior almost if we act this way. But what we don't realize is, sure enough, if we don't take that time for ourselves, then we can't make that investment into our spouse. We can't make that investment in our children, no matter what age. And we certainly can't make that investment into our professional careers. And let me ask you this question. Do you think that your spouse, your children, or the people that you work with don't recognize that you're not operating at 100% or even 85%? See, if you're only operating at 60% and you're not being able to give everything that you need to give, then you're falling short of that destination. and you're doing yourself a disservice. We think that we are doing others a favor, and we have this mental thing going on in our head that tells us we need to keep busy. To sit down is immature and not adult-like. But when we keep going and we keep going and keep adding tasks to our day that don't allow us to refuel, then we aren't able to give, not just to ourselves, but we're not able to give to others. And when did selfishness become this taboo word? You know, have you ever noticed that the people telling us that we're selfish are the ones that are most demanding of our time? Isn't that just a little bit ironic? They're insisting that we take time away from ourselves and give it to them. But if we're not fueled in order to be able to do that, we're not doing anyone a service. So don't be afraid to be self-focused every day and be intentional about it. Read, meditate, sleep, eat properly, feed your mind properly. Do the things that you feel are going to energize you so that you can be more of what you're intended to be to and for others. It means advancing your life forward. Now, taking that time, that quiet time, doesn't mean scrolling through Facebook. That's meaningless. It means something that progresses you, keeps you moving forward. And when you do that, now you have the fuel not only to help yourself, but you have the fuel to be able to help others. And now you're being all you were meant to be. And as my good friend and mentor always tells me, pray hard, finish strong.